Everybody, this is day 1290, and so much is happening, right? So much is happening. Now we have a new lead. It's called Dreams Cabaret. Dreams Cabaret. So we're looking into that. It is absolutely connected to Lalani Hart and more and more. Um, and of course, that's a strip joint, a strip nightclub. It has been in trouble in the past. Let's see if I'm on Facebook before I start all this. Okay, there I am. All right. I'm going to turn it down. Okay, so what's going on here? There's a lot of money to be made at these nightclubs, apparently. There is a crooked history. There is all kinds of allegations of prostitution, of human trafficking, which is mostly all women, right? Women and children. There's allegations of using military um, credit cards at these places. That's been already, I think it was 2015. Dreams Cabaret is right there. Matter of fact, let me see if I saved that article. Um, I don't know if I did. I don't think I did. Um, so, so Dreams Cabaret, among other casinos and nightclubs, strip nightclubs. And I remember when that was in the news uh, because, it was thousands and thousands of dollars by hundreds of soldiers that would go and use their military credit cards at these places for their pleasure. And that's kind of like what Fannie Willis just did there in Georgia with her boyfriend. She favored that attorney and brought him in, even though he didn't have any experience. And she gave him public funding and grant money, and they, just had a time of their life with on the taxpayers' dime. And so with Dreams Cabaret being connected to Lalani Hart, Lalani Hart's some kind of superwoman. She's, in all these positions and all this access and her fingers in everything and all these jobs. It makes, and very protected. It's like Chris Grant. He's very protected. You know, they did report. I've been reading more articles on him, and they did report that he had an open arrest warrant, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't even know I did." That's not true. That is not true. I don't buy that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't buy that. Okay. Um, uh, you know, his record is so long. He absolutely knows what's going on in his record, but he's not worried about it because he's protected. And it's kind of like, being able to hit a police officer and just get out of, not even be arrested, go and burn things and everything that we saw and during that time. And um, it seems like these criminals are being protected. And who are they being protected by? They're being protected by the likes of John Briggs. Okay? When you look at his record, he's an attorney, he's the assistant district attorney for the El Paso. And, when you look at the record, it's pretty obvious that he doesn't have the best intentions of justice, right? Of making sure that justice is served, right? Absolutely, it is heart wrenching for all the families when justice is not served. And it is really mentally very strenuous when justice is not served. And he's doing that on taxpayers' dime. And Yvonne Rosales' office, I think it was um, another lawyer, went in there for Yvonne Rosales and fired him for his abysmal performance in serving justice. And and then they colluded. We have it in the open records. There's no doubt, okay? It's hard evidence that Justin Underwood and Bill Hicks, with Bob Moore of El Paso Matters, colluded, discussed, and investigated how to get rid of a sitting official. And then they did it. They did it. And there was, I would even say, reading it again, it's kind of like they were spying. I mean, it's like Bill Hicks was, it seems like he was spying on the DA. This is before he became DA, right? And this is why we have these problems like what's going on at Dreams Cafe. That, really major crimes are happening. And they have a few videos on, and it is, it's interesting. It reminds me of some pictures. So, something happened at Dreams Cafe. There's some people involved in this, and it is in direct connection to the August 3rd, 2019 Walmart mass shooting case and Richard's case. Because if it's connected to Richard's case, it's connected to the August 3rd Walmart mass shooting case. If it's connected to the Walmart mass shooting case, it's connected to Richard's case. These are the same people. This is the same thing. And it's kind of like Bill Hicks and Bob Moore. They're kind of becoming Siamese twins. And from our point of view, it's like Bill Hicks, Bob Moore, Bill Hicks, Bob Moore, Bob Moore, Bill Hicks, Bob Moore, Bob Moore, Bill Hicks. It's a deadly pair, to exclusively leak out information, to conduct fraud on the very people that think their vote matters, right? And our vote does matter. And that's why it's such a huge crime. And with Chris Grant, the more you look into it, okay, because it's such a sad story, the whole August 3rd, and of course Richard's case. And because we went into the twilight zone with crying captains and shaking command sergeant majors and generals that were saying the barracks are flush with weapons, and 14-year-old girl is living in the barracks being pimped out, and girls were being brought in during the COVID, and the barracks are marketplaces for illegal drugs, and no security on Fort Bliss. And this is coming from the general's mouth. This is coming from the director of emergency services mouth, Thomas Kane, on paper, using pen and paper. It's coming from him. And saying that there's a problem in the JAG office. And then, just I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday, um, James O'Keefe put out that video with the security chief for the executive branch. I hope I got his title right. But he's, for cybersecurity for the executive branch right there in the White House. And he's like, you know, okay, yeah, I'll go on a date with you. Yeah, yeah, that's all I care about. All he cares about is his sex cult, right? That's all he cares about. And he goes on this date and he goes, I can keep secrets really well. And proceeds to tell us all the secrets. Not all the secrets, I'm sure, but loose lips sink ships. And this is James O'Keefe. I mean, if you're cybersecurity, you don't know James O'Keefe when he's sitting in front of you, and you're getting big money running two agencies. He's charge of two agencies, and he's like a little boy. He's like a little third grade boy. And this is really with Fannie Willis, with her little sex cult thing going on. And um, you would say, oh no, that wasn't a affair, that wasn't a sex cult. No, it becomes a cult because when you're in that situation, you're not allowed to say anything. You're not allowed to leave. This is my grandmother. She's like, you know that you're in a cult when you're not allowed to leave or to say anything, right? That's when you know you're in a cult. When you're not allowed to speak your mind, when you're not allowed to leave. And yeah, so they pay a heavy price. Fannie Willis's coworker or employee, right, was trying to speak up. That was in the news too. She's trying to speak up. She's trying to be a whistleblower, and she gets fired. But while Richard was trying to be a whistleblower, and he got murdered. See, this is their sex cult. Because it absolutely had to do with sex. Because what was Richard talking about? He was talking about the whores and blow. He was talking to CPS about the children. He was talking about turning in these sex videos. And what I heard about, and there's these rumors going around, and I want to make sure that everyone knows that Richard is sparkling clean. Sparkling clean. I'm so proud of him. But he was turning this stuff in, because he wanted to be CID. He wanted to be CID, and he was taking the classes to be CID, and the intelligence that we got was that he was a CID intern, that he absolutely knew Tavita Nusa, that he absolutely knew Marlon Soto. Marlon Soto even confirmed to us on record that Richard was inquiring about CID. So Richard absolutely would not damage his record if he's trying to get into the CID. But the CID is the worst of the worst, and we've never even seen anything like it, how corrupt it is. But we're going to work very hard to help the service members by changing that fact. We're going to work very, very hard. We have been working very hard. We've been working very hard, burning the midnight oil all the time. And, because this is our service members' lives that are at stake here. And, of course, if you are, one of these generals, because these generals are the worst, okay? They are the worst. They are compromised. Now, maybe 5 years ago they weren't, or 10 years, not all of them, but I'm telling you right now, it is so bad. I don't think they could even make rank, get those stars, unless they were totally compromised, because they are so bad. And they just put our service members in danger for these contracts, these war contracts, right? It's very, very profitable to be at war. Um, and it's really, especially if you're not a service member that has to go and fight and bleed, it's very profitable to use our sons and daughters as pawns. Well, I'm not standing for that. No way. These unnecessary wars just for defense contracts, just for giving some kind of validity to the likes of Fort Bliss or any of our bases out there that absolutely were bloated, we do not need. We have technology now that can really trim down and streamline our defense. And the defense has really become more of an information, with the AI coming out. Um, well, the AI is already out, right? The AI is already out. And, you know, um, but the propaganda is what's so bad because they tell you, and I- you know, um, this Chinese story that they have built a base on the dark side of the moon and um, they have missiles pointed at us. That's the most ridiculous thing ever, ever. The most ridiculous. There's absolutely no corroborating evidence. Nothing. Nothing. So, it's all lies to make us afraid, um, to think that we need to have this military. But I'm telling you right now, the military as it is right now is doing us more harm than good. They're very expensive. And they're taking time from our young people's lives and telling them that they're going to train them and everything, and they don't. They hurt them. They hurt them because the installations are not secure. And they're bringing in whores and blow and no esprit de corps. No esprit de corps. Everybody should have been rallying around Richard. Um, and we had to deal with the likes of Jay Pollan, the likes of the CID, the likes of Sean Bernabe, the three-star general, and look at this. And think about this, because here we have Dreams Cabaret, and they knew about it. They knew about Glendon Oakley Jr., right? They knew about him dying in his barracks just months before Richard. They knew about Richard's case being intertwined with the Walmart mass shooting. They absolutely knew it because you have Richard making those phone calls, making the complaints starting in 2019. Many of them, and even more. And we're getting more and more confirmation, more and more information. And it's hard to get that information because they have to finally, after over 3 years, give us the open records that show um, it's almost a confession. It's a confession of the institution. It's a confession of the agencies, what they had and did not give us, what they did not do, what they covered up. They're culpable in so many ways. but the truth can't be stopped. And, you know, being a Christian, when the William Wilberforce Amazing Grace movie came out, of course we went to go watch it. And one of the lessons that you learn by watching Amazing Grace, the story of William Wilberforce, the one man, amazing one man team. He had some help, but one man really to, without war, end slavery in the United Kingdom. And it is really an amazing story. It is Amazing Grace. And it's one thing that you learn is that it's in God's time and the truth will come out. And as the truth comes out, it will force the people that don't want the truth um, to lose. They will lose in the end. And, you know, because I think our judgment on what is success is a little skewed. You know, people think, okay, if you have a certain kind of car, if you have a certain kind of house, if you have, you know, a certain amount of money, if you can get away with crime. You know, this is Bill Hicks. He's totally a criminal. And they appointed him DA. He thought, ooh, look at me. Look at me. I'm a criminal and I get appointed DA. Wow, I fooled them. And I'm up to no good. And I have my team that's up to no good. And I I work with Bob Moore of El Paso Matters that he doesn't even have to pay taxes and he's up to no good. And he can mess with elections. He can do all kinds of political damage. And he gets away with it. Ooh, that's success. Ooh, that's so great. No, that is not success. They might judge themselves like that's success. Look at me. Look at me, what seat I sit in. Because these are, you know, they're not, uh, how, I don't even want to give them any kind of kudos at all. Because they're not really smart. They're not really educated. They're not the cream of the crop. Matter of fact, Bill Hicks is far from cream of the crop. But they manipulate their way in and they think it's success. And they have a hard lesson coming, a hard lesson. You know, I guess because of having my German background and knowing you better be really careful when you engage in evil like that. You better be really careful when you think that's success. Because you lose. You will absolutely lose at the end of the day. And so I think the movie with William Wilberforce about, you know, and I don't know how accurate it is, but the message from it is a great message. And, you know, you have to be persistent and you have to stand on your faith. You have to do the right thing. And, you know, it's not easy. It's not easy to do that. And people might think that you're not successful because you're doing that. You know, we've had to end a lot of our business what do you, things that we wanted to do in our retirement and everything to stop, and we're glad to do it. Glad God had another mission for us, right? And, you know, but people go, oh, I thought you were going to do this. I thought you were going to. No, we are going to get justice for our son. we are going to get justice for our son as long as we possibly can. And God sustains you, right? So, absolutely, Richard was a whistleblower. Absolutely, Leilani Hart. And this Chris Grant, I just can't let him go. I have a very eerie feeling because when I listen to his videos, and I want to extend invitation for a phone call because why was he such a media darling? Why was the media so eager to put him and his associates, okay? These are his associates out there as witnesses to, and he's unreliable. Remember that. Remember he's totally not what the media should put out there. You can, somebody that has a record of deception, of criminal activity, of trying to get over, of theft, is not someone that you repeat their words over and over again as fact. And that's exactly what happened. And then they had to, when it kind of got out, the truth gets out, and they had to backpedal. But the damage was done, and they did not make the corrections needed to be because his rhetoric was so racist, was so evil, was so vile and damaging and divisive, was so divisive and not trustworthy. Who put him up to it? Because I just don't think, no way, the evidence isn't there. It's not there for Patrick Crucius and Chris Grant. The more you get to know, the more the connections are, the more the lack of connections are. He's very protected. He was arrested by the Secret Service. He hired a public affairs person to kind of do some damage control to, who does that? Who does that? And we know through the El Paso Police Department that he was not a hero. And he is getting very attached to Richard's case. Very attached. So here we have Dreams Cabaret, another criminal that's, you have Leilani Hart criminal, Chris Grant criminal, that are protected. And Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, criminal and protected. And I should put up the picture. Let's see if I even have it, of Chris Grant sitting right behind Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia at the hearing. I probably don't. I'll put it up. I'll put it up on Facebook. I think that is really, really telling. He's very involved, and something stinks so bad, y'all. Justice is not being served because the very people that are supposed to be making sure that justice is served is Felix Valenzuela. he's he's involved with 3905 Bliss Avenue and 3705 Bliss Avenue. That's that's criminal. Joe Spencer, up to no good, up to no good, just milking that prosecute. Well, he's the defense attorney, just milking the system and delaying, right? Um, and there's more to that. And then you have Bill Hicks, who is leaving it all in pieces and putting on this little show in front of Judge Madrano. And Judge Madrano is sitting there like he's some kind of statue. He's not doing anything. He's letting them get away with it. So what kind of conflicts or interests? I mean, it just screams conflicts of interest. I mean, do they go and play golf together? Do they go and invest in things together? What is going on? We have Judge Madrano that's looking at hard evidence that the gag order is being broken, and he's just sitting there like he's dreaming. Is he at Dreams Cabaret? Because he's just sitting there. And so you have Loretta Lynn, putting in her quitting the job, right? Quitting the job in protest. Here's my resignation. You're leaving this. This is all to politics. This is all political. This is all political. And you're leaving these murder cases involving murderers in pieces. You're not serving justice. I'm out of here. Good for her. But bad for El Pasoans because John Briggs was brought back, right? When they absolutely illegally, criminally, from what I read in the open record sources, what Bob Moore and Bill Hicks and Justin Underwood did together in that, and we're still getting those open records, but what we have so far, they should be arrested. They should be arrested for that colluding and that kind of spending their time on our dime researching how to unseat an official and then acting upon it and taking her down in duress, and then continuing to bully, because don't forget, they continue to bully using the media. Exclusively El Paso Matters. Exclusively, let me hand you a paper. Let me give you a paper, right? To whom it may concern. Let me give you a paper, right? Wow. They should be arrested. That's who's over Richard's case and the Patrick Crucius case. Something is stinky. And I feel like it's very political. I think it is a power struggle for, policy for El Paso investors who, want to stay, with the gravy train. but people are being killed. People are being used and abused. It's supplying drugs. It's supplying hookers. It's supplying guns and ammunition and all of it illegal. And then letting the service members come in, and it's not like the movies. It's really all kind of messy. It's not like the movies because they're letting these uh service members come in. The service members are young, they're away from home, some of them a little bit up to no good, and go, okay, well, I'm going to go into these casinos and to these strip joints and nightclubs, and I'll just use my government credit card. I'll let the American people pay for this. It's not enough that they have to pay for these outrageous contracts for warring and destroying other people's homeland and countries, and destroying what weddings, and what have we done? It's like, okay, has it made us richer? We have unbelievable, um, the hidden tax of inflation. Our infrastructure is a mess. Our our schools are a failure. Our military bases are unsecure. And now we have these no esprit de corps, because if there was esprit de corps, they would absolutely put a lid on it. You wouldn't have hundreds of soldiers using, or service members using, their military credit card in casinos and strip joints, nightclubs, and them allowing it to happen. Wow, what a great business plan. We'll just put our strip club right next to the base, and we'll accept the military credit cards. Yeah. And if we get, digital money, no, maybe no one can really see it so good. And uh, I'm thinking about Richard, and all of I just when all of that breaks, because we know he was talking to Washington D.C. We know that he was talking to FBI Houston. We know that he was talking to FBI El Paso. We know he was talking to CID, and they were telling us at the beginning no, he never made a complaint. And now we have it. All of these calls, all of these calls in 2019. That's why when he wouldn't give up in January, they started smearing him. They had to discredit him as a whistleblower. That's why, and our information is it was Belen Rocha that called in the 911 call to a relative, um, and he can tell us if he's not a relative or not. But Jesus, I think it's Jesus Melendez, the canine cop, um, you know, that was a setup. That was a setup if that happened like that, like what our information is. And so we're saying it publicly so that they can tell their story. But we know in July 7th, and for sure on July 9th, that whole thing was nixed by Alma Trejo, the judge that looked at that and said, that's nothing. That's a setup. And they try to discredit him for so long. Think about it, from January to July 9th, everything that he went through. Um, were they going to give back his 3 ranks? Were they going to give him back those 45 days of extra duty, wearing full battle gear, wearing a mask? Were they going to give him back 50% of his pay for 2 months? Were they going to say sorry, we did this to you? Was Clem Coward going to rescind his GOMAR? And why did Clem Coward give him a permanent GOMAR to begin with without looking at the evidence while the court was still proceeding? Does he not believe in justice? Does he not believe in the American way that you are innocent until proven guilty? But no, they went ahead and they retaliated against him continuously and severely. And when July 9th came and he was exonerated, they panicked. And they panicked in a very bad way. And so do I think that Clem Coward, the general, was in on it? Yes. I think so. Yes, I do. Absolutely. Because he didn't even start looking for Richard until we got involved. He didn't want that. He didn't want Richard to be found in pieces like Vanessa Guillen was. Do I believe that Richard's unit was involved? Yes. Absolutely, I believe that Richard's unit was involved. Do I believe that people that were involved in the concerted effort to carry out a political hit job, because I really believe that August 3rd, 2019 was a political hit job that killed 23 people. And I think there's more to that story. Do I believe that those same people that were involved in that were involved in murdering Richard? Yes, I do. Do I believe that because I'm just dreaming? No. We have hard evidence, irregularities, mountains of it, mountains of hard evidence, mountains of irregularities, and mountains of circumstantial evidence. And that is why we're getting somewhere now. We're getting somewhere. We have been writing letters every day, letters to everyone. Department of Justice over. Remember the Department of Justice that denied us at the very beginning? Well, they're not denying us now. And, discovering that Nieto has those conflicts of interest with Nadal Bayim and Bradford Bugado and Angela Kachurga, that has been a help in breaking through that. Because, how do you answer the conflicts of interest, the evidence that we give them that he has a conflict of interest? And why is he there for so long, over 20 years? Right? Why is he there? He's the lifeboat for El Pasoans. He's the FBI supervisory agent. You should be able to go to the FBI supervisory agent in El Paso and report crime and expect him to stop the crime. Well, investigate to see if it's a legitimate claim and stop it. But that's not what was going on. He has participated in the cover-up with dirty agent Marlon Soto, with the dirty agent Tavita Nusa. Absolutely. With DES Thomas Kane. And now we have the IG, right? We have the IG is Donna Martin. Donna Martin, listen to this. Donna Martin is supposed to, in our son's case, investigate herself because she was the one that was in charge of the CID investigation into Richard that botched the whole investigation, and now she's IG. So she has such a huge conflict of interest. The IG is supposed to investigate what the commander of the CID was doing at the time, and she herself was the commander of the CID at the time. Remember her coming to El Paso to have that fake meeting, that staged meeting with Task Force Find Richard Halliday, 15 plus agencies that included ATF. ATF doesn't come to those kind of meetings unless there's guns involved in what happened to Richard, and absolutely. And the Mexican government was there, the Mexican military was there. They don't come over unless it is an international incident, and it was. His crime scene is binational. And there's laws on the books that they have to do these things. But you know what? They didn't put an op order to it, and they did not do anything then. If there's no operational order, then nobody has any kind of order to do anything, and they just sit there like Judge Madrano on the bench when he sees crime in front of him and he can't even identify it anymore because he's so compromised. Can't even identify crime when it's right there in front of his face. And that is what's going on with Donna Martin, this huge conflict of interest, and the people are not even told about it. So here we are. We're going to tell you. They made Donna Martin the very general that was in charge of the mess. And you remember, Richard's case is involved and is the August 3rd, 2019 Walmart mass shooting. So the very CID commander that was in charge of investigating that, and don't forget this is really important that my husband brought up. They denied us Texas EquiSearch. They denied us Texas EquiSearch. They denied us Texas EquiSearch. They did not want us to find our son at all, because it was Texas EquiSearch that was very instrumental in finding the remains of Vanessa Guillen, because they found that Pelican case, remember? And we asked for them, and they denied us. Nope, nope, nope. They had the resources, and even the military had the resources. But CID, that means Donna Martin, the one that sat like an Indian in the middle of a botched Task Force Find Richard Halliday that didn't even have an operational order, denied us Texas EquiSearch. Okay. And she is now IG, and IG is supposed to be investigating the botched CID. So you think she's going to rat out herself? Is she going to be neutral? I mean, is she going to confess her sins? She better confess her sins, because she needs to be arrested. Same with Sean Bernabe. And the death penalty needs to be on the table. That death penalty needs to be on the table, y'all. It's not just Richard, because CID was in charge of investigating Glendon Oakley Jr. And watch those videos. I need to put them up again. I'm gonna make a TikTok using them. It's just been hard to watch that video with him, because that August 3rd video, that adrenaline rolling, and he was just such a hero. I mean, totally legitimate hero. He was authentic. Authentic. Not a Superman hero. He was an authentic hero. You saw it. The energy, you felt it from him. And then the very next day, he had been so bullied already and harassed already and twisted already that mentally he couldn't keep it together. CID did that. And it got so bad because they started retaliating against him. You know, he was a specialist in that video. When he died, he was a private. They retaliated against him, y'all. Just like they did Richard. And the very people that's supposed to identify crime were harassing the DA so bad at the time. I'm not joking. It's all in our paperworks. They were plotting and conniving, and they were just like, wow, Bob Moore is a bad guy, y'all. Please, if you're an advertiser, matter of fact, I have these advertisers here that I was going to write, and I think I'm going to bring it out because he's such a bad guy. Do not read anything from him. Oh yeah, here it is. Here are my notes. Visiting angels. Please, visiting angels, stop advertising with El Paso Matters. Bob Moore is a bad man. Okay? He's a bad guy. He doesn't do anything for our community. Nothing for our military. Nothing. He's a liar. The next one. Mission Chevrolet. Please, Mission Chevrolet, do not advertise with El Paso Matters. Do not give him a cent. Please, everyone, call Visiting Angels. Call Mission Chevrolet and say, why are you advertising with a bad man who is hurting? Well, our community is hurting enough. Why are you adding to it? Mission Chevrolet. Do you not know he's a bad man? He's a bad man. And he's not helping our military. Not one bit. He's a political attack dog. And he wants things tax-free. He wants his evil to be tax-free. Who else? El Paso Community College. Please, call El Paso Community College. Tell them, why are you putting your name on something that's so gross? He's a bad man. Angela Kachurga is a bad woman. She's a bad woman. And I have to apologize that I get so passionate about this. But I'm trying to be so nice about it. They are so bad, y'all. They are very bad people. And they use their pen and ink and their paper, their pen and ink. They use their platform in a very, very evil way. And they team up with very evil people who has no love for El Pasoans and the land. Texas Tech Health Science Center. Why are you advertising with Bob Moore? With El Paso Matters. Please, everyone, call Texas Tech Health Science Center and say, do not advertise with Bob Moore. And then this last one, which I have a big star by because some stuff came up with that. It's called Emergence Health Network. Please do not advertise with Bob Moore. He's a bad man. And he needs to be arrested, along with Bill Hicks, along with Justin Underwood, along with John Briggs. But those three, Bob Moore, Bill Hicks, and Justin Underwood, we have it on paper, hard evidence of their tampering, illegal tampering. It's just, wow. It's goes against our beautiful country. And it's because of all of the tampering, the chipping away of our beautiful country, that we're in the mess that we are today. Chip, chip, chip by these evil people. Yeah. So I think those are the only ones that I found. If you see someone else advertising, please let them know. And because it's very, very important in the way forward for El Paso to make real strides to servicing justice, right? We need to get people in there and have news media that are interested in servicing justice, in protecting the Constitution, in protecting that all people are innocent until proven guilty, that are interested in esprit de corps, in pride as a nation, and not spewing very questionable, okay? Y'all, it's not just Chris Grant. There is a concerted effort of associates doing it. That is what is so shocking, because that means they planned it. You can't make this stuff up. And those same people, I don't know which ones they were, but those same people, they hurt Richard. I just, yeah. So thank you so much. Please share. We love you. Please share. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, God willing. Thank you. Bye-bye.